guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to add a Firebase Authorizer to our API Gateway in AWS. And the reason why we want to do this, let's just have a simple demonstration. So this is just a simple app, a React app that I created, and it has a fetch button to our API call that we created in our API Gateway. And when we send a GET call, it works, it gets hello lambda world. And it's just based on a simple Flask app that I created here. And it's just have a simple get to the index and just gets hello lambda world. And this is also a get if you wish. But anyways, the point is it's just a simple lambda function that returns hello lambda world here. And the problem is anyone is able to make a get call to this URL because it is a public endpoint anyway. So anyone is able to open up, for example, Postman and just send a get call to it, and they're able to get hello lambda world. It works, of course. But the problem is anyone can just spam API calls, and this could be a problem in production. So if you're using a Firebase app, you might want to look into using Firebase authorization for your API gateway, and this is how we're going to do it. So let's just go through an overview first. So you have a client, and the client invokes an API gateway with a JWT token, and the API gateway, which is your main API, this linked to your Lambda function, is called. Usually, without the authorizer, it will just simply pass on the request to the endpoint, and the endpoint then does its work. But the problem is any client with the endpoint URL is able to call the API gateway, and they can keep calling the target endpoint. This could be a problem. So what an authorizer does, it has an extra Lambda function. So you have to create another Lambda function that takes in the JSON Web Token from the client and checks whether or not it's correct against your actual Firebase project. And if it is correct, then it tells the API gateway, okay, yes, this is good, we can approve the API call, which then passes into the target endpoint. So it's very simple. And so we just want to get started with creating the authorizer Lambda function. So let's go ahead and go back to our folder. We're just going to start from scratch, create a folder called authorizer. It can be anything, but just want to be clear. And next one, we're going to create the actual Lambda function. So I'm just going to call it Firebase Authorizer. Okay. I'm just going to copy it because it's just a rough template. And I'm just going to go through it, what exactly is the most important things to know. Okay. So first of all, we have a Lambda function. So every Lambda function has a Lambda handler, which takes in the event and context. But the next thing that we note is the authorization header. So what we want to put is in every API call, we want to put an authorization header that then contains your JWT token from Firebase. So this is the one that is going to be used for our authorization later on. So the format is, it's going to have authorization, and then there's going to be a bearer. The value is going to be bearer, followed by a space, and then your JWT token. So just simple as that. And once we actually set up the authorizer, you'll be able to send this with a request, and you'll be able to get a proper response. And if you don't, you'll be unauthorized. So we'll show it later once we have finished with it. Okay. And yeah, so the format is bearer followed by the JWT token. So we split it and just abstract and just get the JWT token here. So we want to split by the space here. Okay, so the next important one is this auth.verify ID token. So this auth is referring to from the Firebase admin, which will initialize our app with the serviceAccountKey.json. So we get to that later. And this is basically to register your actual project with Firebase admin and to actually verify the ID token against your actual private keys. So it's to make sure that not every JWT token is approved. Only ones from your project. Okay, so that's the most important one, and if it doesn't throw an error, then it successfully verifies. So that's pretty much the entire thing. So this, you don't have to write it, you just have to copy it. Just make sure that the header is what you remember. You have to put an authorization header later on. Okay, so let's just actually get started with actually setting up our private keys and to actually have the serviceAccountKey.json. So you want to go to Firebase, just go to your project here, click on settings, project settings, service accounts, and then just get Python and just generate new private key here. you should download. So just copy that into your authorizer folder here, and I'm just going to call it serviceAccountKey.json. Yeah, so it looks right. So it just contains all your private keys that you shouldn't commit this. Remember not to commit this because these are your secret keys. So this contains all your project information that the JWT token is then verified against. Okay, so just make sure the name is right, serviceAccountKey.json. Yeah, so it reads from this and then uses it to authorize it here. So that's pretty much your entire authorizer that's done. So it's quite simple. So next things first, we want to actually set up the Lambda function. So we're going to package everything in one folder. So before we get started, create a requirements.txt and add Firebase admin, because that's the only module that have to be installed, and it's not installed in Lambda, so we have to make sure that it's packaged with the Lambda, so it actually has these things to use. Okay, that's the only function left, and now we want to actually pip install this function. Let's create a new terminal and actually store it inside the Lambda function itself. So pip install, cd into your authorizer first, then pip install requirements.txt recursively, and then we want to do it inside of a package folder. So let's just call it package and run it. The reason why we do this, we don't want to just inflate our entire folder with the packages. So you just want to put it inside a nice little folder with package. Okay, so installed it. We get this package here, which contains all the necessary files. Okay, so now we want to actually put everything in a nice zip file, and we use this zip file to create a Lambda function. So we're going to run this command. Since I'm using VS Code, FMRO is a PowerShell function, and we're just going to use compress archive. And if you have zip, you can also use zip. But the point is, we're going to take this entire package file, whatever the content is, and put it inside a zip file. So put package star, taking everything. DestinationPath would be Firebase Authorizer.zip. Okay, and just run that. So it takes in everything inside the package and puts it inside this Firebase Authorizer.zip. And it's just gonna take a little while because there is a lot of this stuff inside. Okay, great. So now we're done with it. Let's go ahead and run the second command, which is now, remember this package contains only the zip file now contains a package. Now we want to put actual Python file, and we want to put the serviceAccountKey.json inside as well. So we just run a similar command. Archive path. We're taking our Firebase Authorizer, and we're gonna take in our serviceAccountKey.json and update the zip file. And yeah, that should work. Great. So just gonna check, make sure it's actually what we want. So it contains all of your packages, contains your Python file, contains a service account key. Don't worry, I'll leave these functions in the description, so you don't have to copy it manually. Okay, so now great, we're done with our zip file, which contains all of our packaged items. So let's actually go ahead and create our Lambda function. So go back to AWS Lambda and just refresh it. Okay, so we're just going to create a new function, and we're just going to call it YouTube Authorizer. So just call it whatever your project needs it to be. And since you're using Python, just use Python, or whatever your Python version is. I'm using the latest one. You can check it by just go back to VS Code and press Ctrl-Shift-P, and just search Python and select interpreter. So whatever they're using, it should be the one there. Okay, so Python 3.13, and that's all you have to do, just create the function. Okay. Once you're done with this, just go ahead and click from upload from, click on zip file, and upload here. And go back to your folder, where you created a folder, so just go back to Authorizer, and click on the zip file, and just save it. be updating right now, and you can see all the packages here that's been uploaded together with it. The next most important thing is you want to scroll down, and you notice this runtime settings and this handler. This handler is wrong. You actually have to change it to all of function names here. So just click on edit. Change this Lambda function to your Firebase Authorizer.py. So just copy the Firebase Authorizer, and the Lambda handler still remains the same because it is the function here. So just go ahead and click save. And that's pretty much it. So our Lambda function is complete. Okay, so next thing that we want to do is actually go ahead and create our authorizer in the API Gateway. So go back to your API Gateway and simply click on authorizers, create an authorizer, and we're just going to call it Firebase. Just choose your region that your Lambda function is created in and find the authorizer that you created. So it's called YouTube Authorizer. And our event payload is the most important thing. You're going to click request, put it as header, and the key, go back to your Python. Remember we put authorization here, so this is what we want to retrieve. So just copy this and put this authorization. So this is the header that we're looking for, and create authorizer. Okay, so now we're done with that. Go back to resources, click on any, and now we just want to integrate our authorizer. So notice the authorizer is none. Just go ahead and click edit, and put Firebase and save it. Click on this any as well, and just do the same as well. And simple as that. So now we got Firebase Authorizer that is set up. So next thing we want to do is actually deploy our API. So just click on deploy and put our stage there and just deploy it. It's going to take a while to actually update it, so let's just hold on a while. Okay, so after a few minutes, just go ahead and come back to our, just want to check with our postman. So let's just make the same call that we did to sim URL. And now we get a 4.1 unauthorized, which is what we expect, because now we added the authorizer, and it's actually going to check whether or not we have authorization token, and we notice that we don't, so it's going to be unauthorized. So let's just put an authorization there, and this is a very old JWT token, so I don't expect it to work as well. So let's just try this, and it's still unauthorized. So we need a proper JWT token. So let's just go back to our React app and just refresh it. So I just printed this JWT token. How we do that is, in my home, there is just a simple get JWT token that I just use get ID token using Firebase. I'll leave the code in the description, but yeah, so this just gets the JWT token every time that I refresh it. So just copy that, go back to your postman and just copy that latest one and send it. And great, now we get message hello Lambda. Whoa, so as you can see, the JWT token is then verified against our private keys, using our private key, and then it actually approves it because our JWT token is from our project itself. So any use of suspicious fetch button that we did at the start, it gets unauthorized. But when we use suspicious fetch button with JWT, it gets hello Lambda. Whoa, so because he's using authorization with a bearer space plus our latest authorization token. And great, it gets hello Lambda. Whoa. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple how you want to use Firebase to actually authorize it. I'll leave all the code in the description. If you have any questions, please do ask. But thanks for watching and have a good day.